話せよ。嫌だ。話せ。Oh,
Okay, new theory.
Douykuusei, or Classmates for us American-speaking people, a sort of coming-of-age boy love story that follows Kusakabe Hikaru, a laid-back senior but talented musician who develops feelings for the well-educated yet reserved Sajo Rito. This is basically your average opposites attract storyline, and I don't have a problem with that. I honestly think it's cute to see two personalities collide with each other to make a cute relationship. Short and tall, good girl, bad guy, trash who thinks it's relevant, but hopefully you get the gist. So the movie begins with an all-boys school preparing for a choir competition, and Kusakabe offers to help Sajo practice. It's not that he's a bad singer, he just can't read notes, I suggest. It's not very clear, but anything to move the plot along. One night the boys are sitting around a water fountain, and Kusakabe asks if Sajo is doing this for the sake of their teacher, Hana-sensei. Sajo really doesn't know how to answer this, and after dropping his drink, the boys accidentally kiss.
What did you do? What? Suck dick on accident. How the fuck do you suck dick?
Kusakabe runs away like most men do when they see something remotely gay. You can say they look nice in a certain shirt and you think they're being gay. Weeks pass and it's tournament time. Everything seems to be going well until Kusakabe runs off stage crying. Now at this point he's been afflicted with the gay and no amount of prayer can save him. Sajo reassures him that it wasn't for a sensei's sake and that singing with Kusakabe actually was nice. And then after this point, let me tell you bitches something. If you ain't got no type of Pampers with super absorption, then prepare for your panties to overflow like mine did. So, the story continues and you can just smell the homosexuality in the air. Tastes like victory. Or tuna casserole. Sajo and Kusakabe are dating, but they like each other, but they can't really say anything about it because sinful feelings for another man can get you locked out of heaven, and people are getting a bit suspicious. Reminds me of my high school experience, but that's another story. Especially Kusakabe's friends, who mentions that Sajo is a different genre from them. Sajo, who overhears the conversation, walks away, and I can understand why. Sajo isn't the type of person who would willingly put himself out there for others to notice him, and especially when it comes to dating too. Sajo believes that Kusakabe doesn't really like him, and would rather protect his image than to be known as something else to Sajo. He's not accustomed to anyone like this, and as far as being LGBT in Japan, well, that's a whole nother can of worms that I don't want to open for right now. Either way, a small discord becomes up the two of them due to this, but it doesn't really last long. At this point, Sajo is all alone with Hana-sensei, and he's getting all personal and touchy and reminds me of my mother. But besides that, he starts to do this weird predator versus prey type of shit and attempts to kiss Sajo. Hana plays to Sajo's doubts of Kusakabe not truly liking him and only sees him as a quick fling. Now, I'm not sure how long Hana has had these feelings for Sajo, or even if he does. It may be talked about more in the manga, which is in the description box below. Don't you tell the government that I sent you there. But I don't think it comes out of nowhere. I believe Hana sees Sajo as someone who is different from the rest of the students that are there. Someone who is smart as Sajo doesn't need to be with a boy, Kusakabe, and needs to be with someone more mature, that being Hana himself. But before that happens, Kusakabe comes up and snatches this man and whisks him away like they do in the movies. Now, here's something really different. They start referencing this poem by Emperor Tenchi Tenno. Course the rush mat roof, sheltering the harvest hut of the autumn rice field, and my sleeves are growing wet, with the moisture dripping through. Now, this poem talks about the emperor finding empathy and joy from his hard-working subjects, and the wet sleeves are the equivalent of the tears. I think the reason they reference this poem is to show that a relationship such as Kusakabe and Sajo's is growing, and it does require a lot of care along the way, but what is already there is a bountiful harvest. Kusakabe pops the big question, and this is the time where the boys are officially dating, but nothing can stay nice for more than 20 minutes or the movie will end right there. Sajo is now considering colleges, and the one he chooses would likely take him away from Kusakabe. Later that night, Sajo goes to see Kusakabe's band. While he's there, drunk off his ass, he overhears a conversation about a girl wanting to get with Kusakabe, that slut. Following the band backstage, these these lovely hoes manage to get the phone number, and Sajo does what any normal person does, drink their problems away. Now again, I can understand why Sajo is hurt. He thinks that Kusakabe is out of his league because he's so popular, but I can also be upset with him because he's not really giving Kusakabe his trust. It reminds me of myself when I used to date cute guys who were amazingly nice and sweet people, but me being a dumbass, being my own insecure self, ruined these relationships because I had those exact same thoughts and I was afraid of getting hurt. And to those who are out there who may be in a similar pickle, let me just say this. Just like Sajo and myself, if you're new to the dating game and are afraid of any of this, start loving yourself because it's gonna get really hard if you don't. Then once you love yourself, you'll be able to love others as they love you. So, after the hardest scene on Earth, Kusakabe reassures Sajo that he loves his bitch and he ain't never gonna stop loving him. Bitch. Fast forwarding, it's summer and the two have been getting along better and Kusakabe wants to take things to the next level. I guess that's why they call it summer heat. As he talks to Hana-san about engaging in a sinful act, he also finds out that Sajo is not only going to hell, but also going to a college far away, as he knew nothing about it, and Sajo was going to leave without saying anything. After confronting Sajo about this, Sajo reassured him that he was going to tell him, but he couldn't actually find the time to do it. So after that confrontation, Kusakabe puts a pause in their relationship. Skipping a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff, we find out that although Kusakabe is popular with the ladies, he's never really cared much for them, even with dating, making Sajo his true first love. I really do like this explanation. Not only is it short and sweet, but it's also kind of realistic. He didn't become gay by looking at provocative pictures of men, or he wasn't forced in any way. He just didn't have a taste for women, and that's how life is sometimes. Going back to their perspective of Sajo, we see that he's having trouble with himself. Now before this scene, we see Sajo have this reaction once when he was at the train station and never boarded it. We never seen Sajo like this anywhere else, which leads me to believe he has anxiety or claustrophobia, or a mix of the both. As he's seen coughing and sweating profusely and eventually blacking out, he imagines himself and Kusakabe in this type of void held together by this ring tied to their wrist. Kusakabe cuts the ribbon and says, even if it looks different, it's still interesting. And I see this from two perspectives. On one hand, you can say that it relates to a societal standpoint and the viewpoints of homosexual couples, specifically those in Japan. Although the views of homosexuality aren't based on any religious beliefs, there is a large amount of discrimination that goes on. But, from what I've read in this review, Japanese Parliament is aiming to tackle that department. I'll also leave links to a few interesting stories that I read for this. You should really check them out, they're interesting. And on another hand, we could say that the ribbon represents memories for Sajo and Kusakabe to look back on if they take different paths. Although separated, they are still together in thoughts and memory. So after coming to save the day yet again, Kusakabe helps Sajo reach his place where the exams are being held, and tells Sajo that he was being selfish and is prepared to let Sajo go in order for him to go to his dream college. After making on time and another gay moment to look back on, Sajo ends up taking this test, although it's not known if he's passed or not. Sajo exclaims to Kusakabe that no matter the result, he wishes to stay with him. They kiss after a bit of hesitance, and the movie ends. If I were to rate this movie, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Although arbitrary, it's not very perfect, but I still really like this movie. What Classmates does a little bit different from yaoi animes is that it knows how to handle itself without the excessive fan service. Don't get me wrong, it's there. It's definitely there. I lost several pair of panties to this tragedy. But it also captured a gay relationship, and it handled it very well. And I really do appreciate that. I know this review may be all over the place, and I hope to improve in the future, and I really love feedback from you guys. Anyway, tell me what you think about Classmates. How do you feel some scenes or elements could have been changed? Do you think the movie should have added more fan service, or do you think it's enough? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate it. Don't forget that I love you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.